Welcome back to the Donovan and Jorgensen Heating and Cooling Friday Night Rivals pregame show, getting really close to kickoff for the Greenfield at Greendale Woodland Conference matchup. Before we send you over to Terry Kelly and John Weiser, we want to introduce you to this week's Current Electric behind-the-scenes superhero of the game. It's our chance to say thank you to people that put a lot of time into high school athletics. This week's Current Electric behind-the-scenes superhero of the week is Chris Mackenzie. Chris is certified athletic trainer at Greendale High School. He's been serving that school district for 24 years. Also, he works for Midwest Orthopedic Specialty Hospital. Chris, it's good to see you again. How you been?
I've been good. It's great to be here, too.
Man, I see you on the sidelines anytime over at Greendale, and you've been there a long time. As our behind-the-scenes Current Electric Superhero of the Week, we want to say thank you to you, Chris, for all the work that you've done over the years to keep these kids at Greendale healthy. I love the fact that we had this conversation, the changes that they made years ago on who can make the decision to go back in the game. That's your decision nowadays, correct?
That is correct, yes, sir.
Hey, and why did you get into this field, a certified athletic trainer? Why did you get into this field?
Honestly, like a lot of athletic trainers, we were once athletes ourselves. And my freshman year of college, I tore my ACL. And during that process of returning back to getting back into shape, getting back into playing condition, I worked with wonderful athletic trainers, physical therapists, doctors, and that sparked the interest in the field. Originally, I thought I wanted to be either an architect or a high school physics teacher, and the injury changed my trajectory.
You know, it's really cool to me that somebody obviously did a great job with you, and then you thought, boy, I can do this, and I can give back to get kids healthy again, to get them on the field or the court. You know, Chris, doing some research for the show and figuring out how to say thank you for what you do, I came across a podcast called The Power of Seeking Therapy that you were on. It's just not the physical side, it's also mental health that you are concerned about and talk very openly about. And I thank you for that podcast and what you said in there. And I think the podcast, a lot of coaches in our area should listen to that podcast.
Mental health is becoming much more to the forefront of what we do as athletic trainers, what coaches do. I don't want to be overly general and say that we see more anxiety, but it is one of those things where I think coaches and athletic trainers have to be able to have that ability to be able to deal with athletes at various stages of mental health to keep them performing on their best on the field and in life, because ultimately what we do in the games is about what we do in life.
100%. And that's what I think as coaches we're trying to do is teach kids life lessons that when they get to be fathers and husbands, they'll look back at and go, okay, that's where I learned that from. And I think that's what we're, as coaches, that's what all coaches are trying to do, along with, win games and be competitive. Hey, Chris, what you do for a living has changed over the 24 years you've been at Greendale. There's a lot of things that have really changed. Back in my day, it was take a salt pill, don't drink water. That tells you how old I am. Things have changed quite a bit as to the way we practice in high school football. We don't hit as much, and I think that's good. I do. I think the safety for some of these kids, you would agree with that, correct?
Absolutely. When we talk about like long-term brain health issues, one of the factors I would say is key is reducing that amount of hitting. So we try to limit the hits that we do in practice. We especially try to teach the kids very proper tackling form. We really do try to emphasize the long-term health. We want these kids to have great long lives.
100%. Hey, Chris Mackenzie, thank you. Here's our Current Electric behind-the-scenes superhero of the week. Look forward to seeing you on the sidelines tonight's game. On the other side of the break, We'll turn it over to John Weiser and Terry Kelly as the Greenfield Hustling Hawks take on the Panthers from Greendale in a Woodland Conference matchup. This has been the Donovan and Jorgensen Heating and Cooling Friday Night Rivals pregame show only on My 24.